And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Tuesday, June 21st. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome. It is a Tuesday morning, and we are on the air for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Tracy Pope is with us, Director of Community Relations for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, and she has a special guest this morning. Anybody she brings is a special guest, I think. Tracy, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. Yes, we have some amazing physicians and staff members at the hospital, and we are always excited to bring someone new and hear what's going on in their specialty.
Well, it's always good to have you too. You do a wonderful job, and we appreciate you.
Thank you, Coleman. And, before we get started, I am on the Leadership Wilson board, and we have our annual, we have it every other year, reverse draw. It's coming up on July the 18th. We still have a few tickets out there. So if you're interested, you can contact probably just the radio station. MJ or yourself could get a hold of me,
Yes.
Or just go online to leadershipwilson.org and look at some information. But it's $100 and a chance to win $10,000. So we would love your support. And like I said, we just have a few tickets left.
We'll do anything for you.
Thanks,
That is a
Coleman.
fun evening. And if you go there realizing, well, you've just really donated $100 to the cause, and if you should win something, that's just a little gravy or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
one time, I was in the top 10.
Well, 2 years ago was really the first time I had participated, and one of the tickets I sold won. They split it 5 ways, and they were all ecstatic. So this year it's going to be at Tucker's Gap Event Center on Monday, July the 18th.
All right. Well, and a few tickets are left.
Yes.
Okay. Well, take it from here.
Okay, yes, we have Dr. Lance LeClaire. He's with Vanderbilt Orthopedics here in Lebanon. He's been with us for a little over a year now, and we're excited to hear all about Dr. LeClaire.
Well, Dr. Claire, you've been here before, but we want you to, again, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you trained and a little bit about your life so far.
Well, thanks, Coleman. It's great to be back, and thank you, Tracy. Really excited to be back with you this morning. It's been a great year. For the past year, my family and I have been living in Tennessee, and as we mentioned last time, we've been a Navy family for the early part of my orthopedic career. I was 15 years active duty and transitioned to the reserves last summer. My wife was a Navy nurse. We met when I was early on in my orthopedic surgery training, and we have 3 young children, 10, 8, and 6. And they're listening this morning, so I just want to give them a little shout out and say hello.
Absolutely. What a wonderful family. 3 children, 10,
8, and 6.
10, 8, and 6. All right.
Lena, Logan, and Emma. So, so we've been really just loving our time here in Tennessee, and we moved from Maryland. We were at the Naval Academy prior to our transition to civilian life, so to speak. And so it's been just a wonderful year here in Lebanon. I worked with the Lebanon High School teams over the past year and just had a wonderful year. As you all know, Coach Chuck Gentry and the boys with Blue Devil football just had a great year, and it was great to be part of that. The practice has really been a lot of fun, learning about Lebanon, meeting people in Lebanon, help take care of them.
And you did
in folks in
basketball
Wilson
as
County.
well?
I helped with basketball,
Jim McDowell.
see those folks a lot in clinic. And they had a magical year as well. So looking forward to what next year brings as well, and looking forward to working with Jacob Woodard, their outstanding athletic trainer as well.
Well, before we move on, I really love to brag on Dr. LeClaire. So he said he had a naval career. So he was the lead orthopedic surgeon for the Navy SEALs before he transitioned to the Naval Academy, where he was the lead sports orthopedic physician there. So he was recruited to Vanderbilt, and he is 100% full-time here in Wilson County. And we are just so fortunate to have Dr. LeClaire and his abilities. Like you said, he's with Lebanon High School, and just, here in Wilson County, we're just so very fortunate.
Well, you really, the football and basketball, boys basketball, both were excellent last year. So you had a good year to get started.
Looking for another magical year next year too. I'm excited to be to be a part of it, small part of it.
And you got a big event we need to talk about this morning.
Yes, thanks, Coleman. So we're really excited about a community event that we're putting on July 23rd. And so the impetus for this came from my time at the Naval Academy. We would get together with our team physicians, our athletic trainers, and our coaches and some of the staff, and we would train to help prevent some of the things that can sometimes happen in the midst of a sporting event to try to keep our student athletes as safe as possible. And so we thought that would be a good thing to do here in Wilson County. And we really view this as a community event where many different folks that play different roles within the athletic community come together to train and learn and work together to try to keep our athletes as safe as we can. And so what we're doing is we're putting on a free kind of mini conference, a mini seminar that will be hands-on and a group learning experience. And we're calling this the Treatment of Sideline Emergencies and Sports Injuries, a primer for parents, coaches, and medical staff. And so that's going to be July 23rd from 8 to 10:30 at Green Hill High School. It's going to be free. And the idea is that we will join as a medical community, a coaching staff, parents, anyone who's interested in learning about how to keep our athletes safe during the midst of the upcoming academic year can learn and practice together. We're going to run through different scenarios that can sometimes happen and frankly can be a little bit scary when they happen. And we want to give people the information and the training that they need to feel a little bit more comfortable if something bad were to happen, so that we can keep our young men and women safe on the sidelines and in the midst of enjoying the sports they love.
Did you say you tried this somewhere else?
Yes, we did this at the Naval Academy, and it was great.
Okay.
We, if anybody watches ESPN over the last couple of years, there's been some very unfortunate injuries to athletes related to heat injury and head trauma and things like that. And there are a few things that if we're appropriately trained and prepared, that we can really make a big difference and frankly save lives at times. If folks know how to use AEDs, automatic external defibrillators, if someone has a cardiac event in the midst of a sporting event, if parents and coaches and the medical staff are all working as a team and we jump to action right away, we can help keep these athletes safe. And so we just want folks to be prepared and know how to work together if those situations arise.
Right, and to be more skilled in immediately treating somebody when some of this happens. Do you have anything in the area of prevention that you do as well?
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to have some faculty involved that will give a little bit of teaching within each mini session. We'll have 6 sessions, and we'll start off with some preventative techniques, some things that folks can do in terms of talking about appropriate equipment, appropriate safety measures, appropriate hydration, and things like that. And then we'll also review and practice hands-on things like if someone has a heat illness, how to rapidly cool them so that we can keep them safe as we eventually get them to the hospital and treat them. But things that can be done on the sideline. But we'll also talk about appropriate training techniques and weather conditions and things like that that can help prevent these injuries from happening in the first place.
I think we have come a long way in a common sense approach to some of this. I've heard some horror stories from back when I was in high school. Now that was a long time ago, but they got out there on the practice field in football in weather like we're having now and didn't have any water for maybe 2 hours or something. We have changed a lot.
Absolutely, and I think back to my days playing sports growing up, and there were definitely times where I was dehydrated and had some element of a heat injury, and thankfully our ability to recognize and as you mentioned, even prevent these things from happening in the first place has come a long way. Sometimes it takes an unfortunate event for us to really learn and kind of hone in on the need for these things. And what we want to do is prevent something catastrophic from happening. But while I was at the Naval Academy, there's an unfortunate event that occurred at the University of Maryland, and that was a big learning event for us. And one of the student athletes at the University of Maryland had a severe heat injury and unfortunately passed away. And that really prompted us to, and all of us in the athletic, in the medical community within athletics to say we need to have plans ahead of time. And what we want to do is talk about these plans with folks that are out on the field every day, our coaches, our parents, and our medical staff, and make sure we're working as a team.
I really think coaches are much more aware of this today than they were 40, 50 years ago, and are much more concerned. And from what you're doing here, they're probably going to be even more so.
Absolutely, and awareness is the first step to really doing it right. And I think that's what's really exciting about this is it's free. We want everybody that has the time and has the interest to feel welcome, and we want to work as a team. We'll have, it's not common. Usually these are geared towards either the medical field or towards the coaching staff. We want to do it all together. We want to work as parents, coaches, and medical staff to learn together and learn from each other.
Okay, again, that's going to be at Green Hill High School Saturday, July 23rd, so that's about a month from now.
Yes, sir.
And at 8 in the morning, you said 8 to 10:30?
8 to 10:30.
And it's free for everybody.
It's free for everybody at Green Hill High School, and so be on the lookout for registration information, and we'll have a little bit of food and some gifts for those that want to remember the event.
Anything you want to say about this before we go to a break?
No, like Dr. Lance LeClaire said, we're going to have a registration page online. So when you do register, you can identify if you are a parent, a coach, or a medical staff provider, and then which school that you're affiliated with, because we want to sort of group, the parents and the coaches with the physician and the athletic trainer that's associated with that school, if possible, to just kind of keep them together and learning together as a family.
Okay, we'll take a break right here, and more coming up on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. 7:16 now. It's all brought to you by our friends at Bates Ford, and they've got the lifetime brake pad guarantee. With the purchase of a brake service, replacement brake pads will be provided at no cost for as long as a customer owns a vehicle. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now in traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning, THP. Still up there in Robertson County trying to clear up a crash that's got the interstate limping along big time on 65 southbound near the Portland exit. That's around mile marker 118, 119. Again, 65 south coming out of Kentucky is just crawling right now because of this crash. So I believe one vehicle overturned. 24 westbound up through the Hickory Hollow area. Coming in from Rutherford County, we've watched that traffic volume increase quite a bit. Ripley's has a great summer camp experience for the kids coming up. Space is very limited. Log on today, Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
The refreshing cool after coming in from a hot summer day. The perfect temperature to kick off your shoes and relax with a good book. When the weather heats up, a new Rheem AC system will surround your family in total comfort. Are you feeling it? Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Coleman and Company, it is a Tuesday morning, our program presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, and Tracy Pope is with us, of course, Director of Community Relations, along with Dr. Lance LeClaire. He's Vanderbilt Orthopedics, Lebanon, and talking about the big sports medicine conference, and we pretty much, I think, told everything we can tell about that this morning, but just again, for those who just turned their radio on, a reminder that it's coming up on Saturday, July 3rd, starting at 8 o'clock at Green Hill High School. And who all's invited?
Yeah, thanks, Coleman. So like Coleman said, July 23rd, 8 to 10:30 at Green Hill High School. It's a free sports medicine conference open to all parents, coaches, medical staff, and everyone in the community. And the title is Treatment of Sideline Emergencies and Sports Injuries. A primer for parents, coaches, and medical staff will all come together and learn about injury prevention and treatment of injuries for sports athletes.
All right, we found out a lot about you already, and the fact that you had really a career in the Navy, but you're with Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital now, right here. And what types of patients do you treat?
So I'm a sports medicine trained, fellowship trained surgeon, which means I primarily do arthroscopic treatment of shoulder and knee injuries. And so my research interests and a lot of my clinical interests have been around the shoulder while I was in the Navy. At the Naval Academy, our shoulder instability rate was 20 times the average population. So that's where a lot of the research I've done focused. And so I really enjoy treating shoulder instability and getting those athletes back on the field. But really, I enjoy helping folks that have knee and shoulder pain of all kinds. And so those are kind of my two areas of specialty. I also do some work with foot and ankle injuries. But a lot of arthroscopic surgery, rotator cuff surgery, and for the knee, ACL injuries, meniscal tears, cartilage injuries. Those are things that that I've been treating throughout the course of my career and really enjoy working with those folks.
If somebody needs your service, what do they do? And do you have an office? Can they walk in? How does that work?
Yeah, so one of the things we really want to do is make ourselves accessible to the folks in Wilson County. And we pride ourselves on being able to offer same-day appointments if folks call in the morning. I'm in clinic on every Tuesday and Thursday. Usually I'm in the OR on Wednesdays and Fridays, and we want to make ourselves accessible. So we have multiple ways for folks to get into our clinic if they have something they want us to take a look at. We have websites, so you can go to the Vanderbilt website, Vanderbilt Orthopedic websites, and there are links there where you can schedule your own appointment. You can call our office and get through that way, or call the Vanderbilt Access Center and schedule an appointment that way as well.
And where is your office?
Our office is located at 1616 West Main Street. We're on the third floor. That's a nice, everybody always says, oh, that's the blue windowed building, and that's where we are.
The blue building, that's what we call it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we say that, and if people around here have been here any length of time, they know where we're talking about.
Yes,
They're
sir.
on West Main.
Yes, sir.
And before I, was really with the hospital, a huge misconception I had is if you go see an orthopedic surgeon, that means that you have to have surgery, but that is totally not the case. As I've worked with orthopedic specialists, I think their number one concern is to try to help people not have surgery. How can we treat your injury? How can we treat your illness in a non-surgical fashion? And then, sometimes people do have to have surgery, and that's what they're there for.
Well, I think there's no question sometimes surgery is, even though it's a last resort, it's almost unavoidable in certain situations. But it is good to know that that you can maybe do something else, and if possible, I guess that's your first. The first thing you try to do is to avoid the surgery, but if not, it's good to know we've not only got some great surgeons, but the orthoscopic, the less invasive surgery is so much better than what was traditional 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Absolutely, and we have some great partnerships with physical therapists within the Vanderbilt system and in town that do a great job of helping many patients avoid the operating room, which is, part of my job I view it is to talk with patients, learn what their goals are, learn what their job involves, what their activities of interest are, then help them make an informed decision. I think gone are the days where the doctor comes in and says, you need surgery, I'll see you on Wednesday in the operating room. What we really need to do is have a good conversation, and I learn from the patient. I help the patient get educated on the options and help them choose the route that's best for them. And as Tracy mentioned, most often that involves non-operative treatment. And we have some great partners in the physical therapy realm that help us help many folks avoid the operating room.
Well, we were talking about youth and high school athletes and so on earlier. Let's go back to that and talk about some of the common injuries that are associated with the sports, like basketball and football especially, and I guess baseball too. They're some of the injuries are pretty much the same, but I think there are certain type we expect more of in football, others in basketball, even others maybe in baseball. I know I was watching a game the other night, and the catcher got hit on the thumb with a foul tip, and it broke his thumb hand, and he's out for 4 to 6 weeks. Those things happen.
Yeah, so there's definitely a wide variety of injuries that can occur across many different sports, but you do see some patterns even within different position groups. For instance, the most common injuries across the board are definitely going to be sprains and strains. And so ankle sprains, muscle strains like hamstring strains are very common, regardless of the sport. And so we always want to emphasize appropriate warm-ups and stretching before and after. Nice cool down with a stretching routine after activities, practices, and games and such. And so that can help prevent some of those sprains and strains. In football, we tend to see more of the contact collision type injury patterns, which can include AC joint injuries of the shoulder dislocations and separations, knee injuries to include ACL tears and meniscal tears. In basketball, we see a lot of ankle sprains. Folks roll their ankle, unfortunately, coming down for a rebound or things like that. And then we also see some finger injuries, taking an errant pass and jamming a finger and things like that. So a variety of injuries. The contact collision sports do have a higher rate of concussion, as does soccer. And so we have a great concussion treatment center in Wilson County at Mount Juliet. Dr. Alex Diamond runs a youth athlete concussion center. And so if folks have concussion issues, that's a great place for them to get the treatment they need.
But a concussion is not that's something you would pass on, I take it.
We help diagnose and get folks informed on what's going on. And then we have some great experts that can help. We're learning more and more all the time about concussion management. Gone are the days where we used to say, go into a dark room and rest and avoid, stimulation as much as you can. Now we've learned a lot more, and we have new innovative techniques to, number one, help speed up the recovery from concussion, but number two, try to shorten the duration of kind of lingering symptoms, and hopefully we hope to help prevent recurrence of concussion down the road. And that's where a lot of the learning that's taking place is going on right now.
But here again, there's quite a bit of the injuries are sometimes similar, but quite a bit of difference too in the different sports. Mm-hmm. You ever have golf injuries you treat?
Absolutely. There's actually something called golfer's elbow, that's pain along the inside part of the elbow, which is a tendonitis type pain. Mm-hmm. And so that can be commonly seen from folks that like to get out on the range and get out on the course, and we know how to treat that pretty well. It doesn't involve surgery usually, and most folks can get better. But speaking of the elbow, a common injury that we see this time of year, unfortunately, is ulnar collateral injuries of the elbow, Tommy John type injury, and we see those unfortunately at an increasing rate with youth baseball. And so it's really important for folks to pay attention to their pitch counts. It's not so much the innings that these young athletes are throwing; it's the number of pitches. And so we really need to be diligent, especially if folks are playing in multiple leagues, which can sometimes happen.
Now, weekend warriors. What's the definition of a weekend warrior?
Well, I find myself in that weekend warrior category. So it's folks that work hard through the week at their job and want to get out and enjoy their sports that they've enjoyed when they were younger. On the weekends instead of through the week.
Still talking about sports here.
Still talking about sports.
Right.
But the weekend warriors are folks that get out, once a weekend, once every other weekend, and play tennis or play basketball or whatever sport that may be. But, if maybe you're not practicing every day at high school, you're just getting out on the weekends and playing, getting after it on the tennis court or the basketball court, you may be a little more prone to injury, especially if you're not doing the things like appropriate warm-ups and stretching and maintaining a level of fitness throughout the week as well. And so those injuries may be more like an Achilles strain or calf strain and things like that.
We've got a couple of minutes here, but we could mention quickly shoulder pain, common causes, knee pain, which is a common complaint, I guess, and you deal with those as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So we can start with the shoulder. The most common thing that brings folks into the office is they're having difficulty sleeping at night. Or their spouse is tired of hearing them complain about their shoulder pain. And so those two things oftentimes will bring folks into the office, and usually it's a little bit of inflammation of the rotator cuff tendonitis, and some folks call it impingement. And that's something that can be treated very well with either a home exercise program or some physical therapy and some anti-inflammatories. And a non-operative treatment plan can usually help folks almost always avoid the operating room. Other common causes are rotator cuff tears, either partial or full thickness tears of the rotator cuff. Same thing, we can do some rehab there. If that doesn't work, then we have good surgical options. For the knee, oftentimes we'll see either some cartilage thinning or some early arthritis. Another common thing is meniscal tears. And those can be treated, if need be, with arthroscopic surgery, a scope treatment, and those do quite well also.
All right, I guess in our last minute here, we can mention one more time your sports medicine conference coming up in Green Hill High School.
Yes, sir. Very excited about this free event for treatment of sideline emergencies for our young student athletes in Wilson County, a collaborative effort with coaches, parents, and medical staff. Green Hill High School, July 23rd, 8 to 10:30 a.m.
All right, and what about you do register for this? Did we mention that earlier?
Yeah, so Dr. Leclerc brought this idea forward, and we immediately went to Chuck Whitlock. He's our health services supervisor and district athletic director. Lots of people know Chuck, and he has helped us bring this to life. So we want to just really thank Chuck and the Wilson County Schools. So if you're a parent or a coach in the Wilson County school system, you will be receiving communication from Chuck on about the event and then how to register. We don't have our registration site up yet, but it should be up this week. We'll be able to send that out. And then, like Dr. Leclerc said, we're working with lots of physicians. We have Dr. Diamond, Dr. Terry, Dr. Ritchie, and a few others that are very excited. We're working with Vanderbilt Life Flight. And this has all happened so fast, we're going to be reaching out to our Wilson County emergency management partners to see if they want to participate and help us. So, it's all coming together pretty fast, but we're really excited. And then we hope to have this on an annual basis. So.
All right, very good. Well, Dr. Lance McClure, thank you so much for being with us today. And Tracy Pope, another good program. Thank you. That is part one of Coleman and Company. Stay tuned for more. FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's now 7:31, and it's all brought to you by our friends at Absolute Kubota Land Pride. Quality tractor implements, including cutters, finish mowers, box blades, tillers, and more. 5-year gearbox warranty, extremely durable and well-built. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. I'm still watching traffic struggle down through Portland area on 65 southbound through that section of Robertson County as they try to clear a wreck. Everybody's staring at it. 65 southbound around the 118 mile marker. Again, that's up there in Robertson County. It's got traffic slow. Traffic looks pretty decent right now through Mount Juliet. That traffic flowing pretty good actually through Wilson County. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken is now available for catering. They're hiring at all their locations. Check out that menu today, princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
At Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, world-class care is a heartbeat away. In fact, we offer the same world-class attention Middle Tennessee has come to rely on from a Vanderbilt Health hospital. Supported by over 200 specialties, an expanded emergency department staffed with Vanderbilt Health physicians 24/7, and greater investments in life-saving technologies and care. It's just one more way we're making healthcare personal.
Another day full of sunshine is ahead with a couple of changes that are going to make it feel pretty uncomfortable outside. We're increasing the heat up to a high of 96 today. The humidity is also climbing, pushing our heat index towards 100 degrees. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm number one Ned.
Good morning. Welcome to part two of Coleman and Company. I was just greeting Mike Jennings. My way of greeting him is with a laugh this morning. But anyway, I want to welcome Sean Dozier. Sean's been sitting in the chair for a minute or two here, and Mike is getting all his stuff from last night's meeting laid out that he'll talk about later. But Sean, good morning to you.
Good morning. Coleman.
Sean is Executive Director of Hearthside Senior Living, and our regular listeners know he's here each Tuesday and tells us about this wonderful retirement and assisted living community.
It is wonderful. I'm so happy to be there. I tell you what, we have a great community. We have great residents. We have wonderful staff, and I couldn't be more pleased with where we are at this point in Hearthside's legacy. And I just love being there, Coleman. I really do. I love talking about it. We have a lot of folks there who are from out of town, but we have a lot of folks from Wilson County, Lebanon, Watertown, Mount Juliet, and just to be able to sit with them every once in a while to hear their stories is just fantastic.
That you've learned a lot about Wilson County from them, and coming here from Davidson County, it's a little bit different going out 30 miles away.
It is,
and but what history and what events and even culture and all of this that you've been exposed to that you probably wouldn't otherwise.
It really is a different culture. It's a good culture. That's why we chose to live here over 20 years ago, because we wanted a different culture for our kids, and we wanted to raise our kids here in Lebanon. And Nashville's kind of following us. We left, and now it's kind of following us out here. But we love living here. We love. That's one of the reasons I love Hearthside so much, is because you do get to know the community, the families, and of course the residents, as you mentioned, and it's fantastic.
Well, you got a few openings right now?
We do. We have zero openings in our. Well, we do have zero openings in our independent living, but we do have a few openings in our assisted living. We're always moving folks into those medium and large rooms. Mm-hmm. People love those little extra size rooms, so we're sold out in our medium and large, but we do have a few small rooms available, and that's good for folks sort of wanting to see if they like assisted living, mm-hmm. try it out for maybe 60 days to see if they like it, get the feel for it, and then they can move up to a larger room if they want to. But if you're interested in the assisted living, everything's included in one price. We do have two levels of care that help with bathing and dressing and incontinence care, but if you just want the basic assisted living room, we do have one price that includes Wi-Fi, housekeeping, laundry, 3 meals a day, snacks, ice cream, Coleman, for you.
Trying to help you.
Yeah, it's all included in one price, which when they sign that document, they really appreciate knowing what they're going to pay every month. And so those rooms continue to be popular as well. So if you're interested, 615-443-1994, or they can visit our website at hearthsideliving.com. I was telling Mike, today's the longest day of the year, so
yes.
we'll be doing something today. I'm sure Betty will have them inside, of course, because it's so hot, but we'll be doing a lot today. And then he reminded me this is the first day of summer, so it's going to be a great summer for the folks at Hearthside, not only in our assisted living, but also in our independent living as well. We do a lot of things with those folks as well. We go on trips and go to restaurants and things like that. So we stay active, and that's what they like to do.
Well, you do just about everything you can do. It's about possible. There's some limitations,
right.
Obviously, money-wise and otherwise,
sure.
But you have a variety, and you're thinking about them, I think, all the time.
We do. We try to mix it up some, and I think people, we don't want to overdo it.
Right.
Particularly folks in the independent living, they have their own lives and they're staying busy, traveling, doing what they do. But we do things once or twice a month to keep them active. And then in our assisted living, of course, we do something twice a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. And then we'll go out, like last week, we went out, took some men out for lunch and for Father's Day. So we try to keep them active, and they appreciate that. They really do.
Do you need people to come and entertain or provide programs or assist you in what you do once in the morning?
That's a good question. We do. We have activities, of course, as I mentioned, twice a day. And so folks often come in and volunteer and sing and play. And, and Betty's always looking for somebody to come in and volunteer. So if you're interested, just stop by or call our number, and we'll be glad to get you in there. A lot of people, in fact, Amazon, they have a group that volunteers every month. They spend 3 hours at our facility, either doing something outside, cleaning up around the campus, or they'll do something inside for our residents. And that is a group that called us out of the blue. They have to get so many volunteer hours if you work at Amazon. So we have about 10 Amazon employees come every month, and they've been fantastic. They've done a lot for us.
Well, that's nice.
I'm glad you mentioned that. We are always looking for folks to be involved in our community.
All right, how about a Hearthside hello?
Ricky Haskins. Ricky Haskins opened up his farm to us Friday. Some of the men wanted to go out and see his track. I don't know if you know.
Did you count his tractors?
We tried. It was too many to count. We had three barns or sheds to go through. But he has an incredible collection. If you've seen it, I'm sure most people have seen it out at the.
I've seen it at the fair.
At the fair, yeah.
And I did a program with him talking about it. Man,
it's incredible.
Coleman. It is.
It's a great hobby, and he really enjoys it. His grandkids were there; they were enjoying it. And he not only has tractors, but he also has another shed full of old farm equipment. He has an old broom maker that his grandfather made brooms from, and just a lot of great collection. It's like going to the Wilson County Fair, but it's at his farm. But he was great to do that, and I appreciate Ricky opening up his place for us.
All right, Ricky Haskins, our Hearthside hello. Well, I guess we've come to the end of your time this morning, but a good visit with you today.
Thank you.
And we'll do it again next Tuesday.
See you next week.
All right. Sean Dozier, Executive Director for Hearthside Senior Living, 215 Castle Heights Avenue North, and that phone number 615-443-1994. Mike Jennings is with us this morning, and our county attorney, the mayor of Watertown. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
How are you?
Well, I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
Well, let's get it out of the way here. I felt sorry for you. I really did. Tennessee baseball did so well this year till they got to the Super Regional.
Yep, and it's a classic example of you can't have a bad game or two at the wrong time, and if a team gets hot, they can go. I was just telling Sean, Ole Miss is one game away from playing for the College World Series championship, and we beat them 3 times in Oxford. Swept them. So baseball's a crazy game, too, as we know. It's a great game.
Well, I've got the bracket here, and I was studying this a little bit last night, kind of for you. But our 4 teams from the SEC are still in it, but one of them's going to go out today because they play each other.
But 4 made the last 6.
Arkansas and Auburn. Yeah. Well, one of them is going to lose, and it'll be their second loss today. But Ole Miss has not lost yet. They won 2 games.
They're in the winner's bracket. They're awaiting the winner of somebody today. Those are losers bracket games today.
And Texas A&M, I think they're still in.
They're still in, although they're in.
Well, that speaks pretty well for the SEC.
Oh, it does. It does. And they play really good baseball, and a lot of these teams have local guys on, from Middle Tennessee and the state of Tennessee. So it's been really good. I'm not going to let you get away without saying something positive about our Watertown High School baseball team that won the state championship.
Well,
Tennessee is bad, but I got a lot of things to rejoice about here.
Well, they're going to be honored tonight at the county commission.
Last night,
we're honored last night, and coach is going to be on next Monday with me here.
Good. You'll enjoy talking to him.
I had a little phone conversation with him yesterday, but he was in his car. We didn't talk long, but he's glad to come, and I'm looking forward. I've never met Coach Purvis, right? And I haven't met him, but looking forward to that next Monday.
Well, they had a magical season, and 3 or 4 weeks before the end of the regular season, they didn't look very good, and then all of a sudden they just got hot and turned it on, and I think lost one more game after that, and that was it.
Well, that's baseball too.
It is.
You have streaks, good and bad.
It is. It sure is.
They gelled at the right time.
They did.
But what? How? That's your first state championship ever, isn't it?
First team state championship.
Right.
We've had at least one individual, maybe 2, who has won an individual event in track and field. I'm thinking of Raekwon Verge and I believe it was the long jump. And I'm thinking there's somebody else, but I've forgotten it. And I'll blame that on memory.
Well, the football team has done pretty well at times.
They have. They've gotten to the Final 8 last 2 or 3 years, I believe. And we have our sports program, our school in general is in good shape. And very proud of it. And these young men represented their school well. They never trailed at the state tournament. And two of the 4 people they defeated, they shut them out.
No.
When you get to that level, you'd like to think you can score,
Well, what happened last night? We'll talk a little bit here to go to a break, but did we do a budget?
We got our budget adopted last night. We got our tax rate adopted with no tax rate increase this year, as I think I predicted 3 or 4 months ago. And we issued $60 million in bonds for the West Wilson Middle School, and so now we're in shape to begin the rebuilding process on both of our schools. One of them's already up and underway. And so last night was a pretty eventful night of local application to where we're sitting. We honored Fred Anthony Burton last night. Fantastic Fred. And Tyler Hallstatt, who won the Milken Educator Award. And there's somebody I'm missing. Oh, young man from the Sheriff's Department won the medal, awarded the Medal of Valor, and I've forgotten his name, but for saving a student that was choking at Green Hill for West Wilson. I forget where it was.
Well, since he's one of us, how did Fred? How was Fred's demeanor last night?
Well, he seemed very pleased, and he took a couple of questions from the audience. They played
really?
They played his favorite song. Commissioner Venata had it set up with a favorite song he liked to play, and then they asked him to say his favorite saying that he says on Saturday night, and he rattled it off. It's about 7 or 8 lines, and it was pretty good. And then Mayor Hutto asked him, said, "What did you call my hometown?" And he said, "The Liquid City." So he's got a flair.
Fred has established himself over the years, mostly on Saturday night here, but I don't care when he's on the air. That phone is ringing off the wall with people wanting to play songs.
Yeah, and he's known everywhere. Yeah. I've traveled some with him on the 911 board, and people know him.
Well, let me tell this. Fred surely would appreciate it. I think I've told him one time, but when my middle son was born, it was over at Gallatin. And I don't want to go into that, but that's where he was born. And I go over there, and those nurses over there find out I'm working at the radio station here. And what is their question? "Oh, do you know Fred Anthony?"
Yep. Yep.
Well, congratulations, Fred. I understand Commissioner Sue Bonata read the proclamation.
She did that.
What do you call that?
Resolution.
Resolution.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, time for us to take a break. We'll talk more about last night's meeting with Mike Jennings in a moment. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And at 7:46, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford, and get $50 off, $250 repair offer to owners of 4 to 10-year-old Ford, Lincoln, or Mercury vehicles. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning in South Nashville. They're on the scene of an accident with some injuries. It happened a little bit earlier at Tusculum Road and Benzing Road. Traffic was still a bit tied up at Nolensville Pike and Melrose. 2 cars involved there. Some radar this morning down certain sections of Wilson County as you come through Mount Julia down I-40. Be careful. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken is available for catering. They're hiring at both locations. Check out that menu at princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Contact Stephen Lowry Land Clearing for all your land clearing needs. Whether it's clearing trails for ATVs, reclaiming pasture, or clearing your land of brush and trees, Stephen Lowry can get the job done. He works closely with customers, adjusting to make changes as you want. Steve Lowry will give you quality work at a price that you can afford. He will also beat any written estimate. Call Stephen Lowry at 615-970-8154 for all your land clearing needs. That's Stephen Lowry Land Clearing, 615-970-8154.
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. My thanks to Mike Jennings. Mike, I don't think you'd miss this unless you had to. And you were one of 3 on the very first program we ever did. You and I go back a long way. You are a valuable part of Coleman and Company.
Well, I appreciate that, and I've enjoyed it over the years. I think a time or two I've called in from somewhere else because I didn't want to leave you hanging without a guest, and we just talked about it. I think I've maybe flown out somewhere the next morning.
Let's see, one time it was your birthday, wasn't it? And
oh, yeah. Y'all did a number on me.
That was a funny one.
Yeah, it was. I'll have to admit, y'all got me on that one. That was my.
We've had some good times. This has been a great ride.
Oh yeah, it has. Hopefully it'll go a while. But
Well,
we're both getting a little long in the tooth, Coleman.
Yeah, right. Let's get back to last night's commission meeting. The budget, I guess, is overall is the big thing, but the way that it comes about, you have a lot of committee meetings, and most of this has been gone through and discussed and digested and all of this way beforehand. So, as Mayor Hutto explained yesterday, you really have no reason to have a second reading. And once you pass this, if you get 13 votes, then it's done. And well, how'd the vote go on that last time?
Well, Coleman, it was. I looked at the mayor as soon as he adjourned and said, "Mayor, we just adopted a budget. We adopted a tax rate that's status quo, and we issued or authorized $60 million in bonds, and there was not a negative vote on any one of the three. All three were 25-0. And
that's unanimity.
That is, and that's in my 32 years now, however many budgets I've been in part of, I don't remember that happening. Usually somebody takes issue with something in the budget, or usually there's an effort to amend it on the floor. It's gone through committee. The committee didn't see fit to put it in, but somebody says, well, I'm going to try it on the floor, try to get 13 votes to get it in the budget. None of that last night.
Well, the fact that we can continue and I mean we in some ways going through some hard times in the fact that especially the problems that WEMA has had with the personnel and maybe the pay scale and this sort of thing, maybe some similar problems otherwise, but doesn't come to the forefront as much. Then we've got the school issue. We've got to pay our teachers enough to keep them. We've had the problem from the tornado. I mean, there's been a lot to work on here, and to do that without a tax increase and for everybody to be on the same page, I think it says a lot.
Oh, it does, and I think it was excellent leadership from the county mayor and the county commission, finance director. Everybody put their put their shoulder to the wheel, and got it done over a period of about 60 or 75 days. As the mayor said last night, we start the process officially with our budget calendar in February, but things really intensify about the last part of April through May and up to June. And for the last few years, we've gotten our budget done in June, which makes the rest of the summer somewhat enjoyable.
Do you know of any real dissatisfaction with any of this? Is there anybody that's really got a burr in their saddle or whatever?
I haven't heard of anybody. Of course, everybody always wants more money.
Yeah.
But we adopted a new pay plan last night that basically everybody got an increase. It varies in percentage. But I didn't hear, and again, no one spoke. We had a public hearing last night, and 2 people spoke. And it just, I can remember budget meetings that went to 10 or 10:30. We adjourned last night at 8:29 and had a lot of fun in the process with honoring Fred and the baseball team and Mr. Halstead and the sheriff's deputy. All of that happened up front, took some time, and it was good time. So when things started rolling, they rolled quickly.
Well, the getting this school thing settled is a pretty big step too, I think.
It is.
It's part of passing the budget, but it's a big part, and the fact that we were delayed in I guess negotiation with the insurance company in the beginning, and that has caused some problems we might not have had we could have.
That's right.
If we could have settled earlier, we would have been well into it by now.
We'd
but
have been,
even so, everybody seems to understand and trying to do their best in a worse situation.
Well, I think they have, Coleman. And yes, we might have could have sped it up a couple of months or 3 or 4, but you know, the leadership that we have in this county. Jeff Luttrell as the director of schools. Jeff doesn't shy away from problems. He just takes them on head on. He's got a board that's pretty supportive. You know, when you get 7 people together, it was when you get 25 every now and then, you have some differences of opinion. But by and large, everybody that I know supports education. And you'll hear them say, well, we got to do what's right for the kids. And where I sit at their meetings, I see that happening. Now, I know there are people out there running for office that are saying, you know, well, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. But the truth of the matter is the Board of Education and Jeff Luttrell doing a wonderful job of guiding the school system. Now, why do I focus on them? Because that's the single biggest part of your budget every year. And if those things are under control, the rest of the things fall into place. The things we had to deal with this time that were a little unusual is the number of people that we were short at WEMA and the number of people we were short at the Sheriff's Department. Both gave reports last night that said we're not as short of personnel as we were. We've gotten some people on board, gotten some people trained. So those things have come through very well. And, you know, it all depends on your leadership and our leadership in this county, county mayor, county commission. They've done an excellent job, I think.
Well, I don't know to what extent growth money plays a part in this. I haven't tried to follow this. I think we do usually have a little growth money every year, which means I guess it comes from our property taxes. But then another big thing is the sales tax revenue.
Sales tax revenue is up, and I'll shift gears a minute to tell you that that's the single biggest increase in my revenue budget at Watertown. I've got to deal with my budget tonight in Watertown, and the amount of sales taxes that I budgeted for local option, we brought in a lot more. Now, the money that I would, if I set a dollar figure, people in the county would laugh, but for us, it's big. We can do a lot with that. And we're going to give some fairly sizable increases tonight to our employees because we're finding out, I've said this for years, Coleman, but we're finding out you can't do anything without your employees. And you better try, if you've trained them, you better try to keep them on board. Otherwise, it's a perpetual cycle. You hire somebody, you train them, somebody hires them away, and you start the process again. We have done a good job. You've got I'm back to the county now. Sales taxes are up, property tax growth money, adequate facilities taxes are big as well. And if we have a downturn, if the interest rates continue to rise, as it appears they will, and building falls off some, that we may suffer a little bit from that. But we have built up fund balances that we can handle it for a while. And for a while, I mean for probably a year or two. You don't want to, nobody wants to go into their savings account, but if we have to, it's there. And again, that's good management, good leadership. Aaron Maynard at the finance department has managed that money well. And when somebody comes up with an idea to spend some money that we hadn't thought about, you can almost see Aaron cringe because he's saying, you know, we need to keep this money, you know, stockpiled away. But we've done a good job with that.
Well, I don't know this much about employment or whatever, but I do think that sometimes you might be better off to pay a little bit more for a quality employee who maybe can do more, has a little bit more on the ball than somebody that just comes to work waiting for quitting time. You know what I mean?
Yep.
The quality of your people have a lot to do with all of that. And if you've got good people, you can get more done than with some that are not so quality.
You can, and experience counts,
Yeah.
Coleman, because if they've been in their positions long enough, most likely they've seen, if something shows up today, they've seen it before. And so you learn from experience. All of us do good experiences, bad experiences, we learn from it. And I think our people we have a lot of experienced people. And it's important that you keep them on board. I want to say reward them. People then say, well, you know, you're not supposed to reward employees. Yeah, you are. If they do a good job, you're supposed to take care of them. And I think we've done a good job with this budget of doing that.
Well, it just sounds like a pretty nice story. The news is good.
Yeah, it's good.
For Wilson County.
Yeah.
And we've got 2.5 minutes here. If I can switch to Watertown, you got your meeting tonight. You got some problems up there, water, sewer,
Sure.
streets, and that could use a lot of repair. But I know you're working on it as best you can.
Yeah, we are. And, you know, it all comes down to money. And, you know, I joke with the county mayor, I said, Mayor, you don't have to, you know, operate a water and sewer department and that type of thing. And he comes back and tells me you don't have to operate a jail and you don't have to handle trash, you know. So each government's got their own responsibilities. But not enough money to do some things. I'm really concerned about our streets, and I'm just turning over every rock I can. But Steve Murphy, the road superintendent, told me at the last meeting the cost of paving a mile now is $150,000 a year. Well, we've got about, I think, a little over 10 miles in Watertown of streets, so that's $1.5 million.
$1.5 million.
Yeah. We don't have $1.5 million. I mean, we've got some money put away, but I'm not going to wipe out the community.
Well, are you able to do? Will you be able to do a little paving?
Perhaps. There's also a couple of things we're working on that I hope to hear back from soon. Getting some assistance from another government higher up the chain, and I hope it'll work out.
Well, maybe so. I mean, they're throwing all this money down.
Yeah.
Why don't you pave some roads?
Yeah, we'd like to see some of it. And, you know, as I tell people, we'll rub the green off a dollar bill in Watertown, and if you want to see where your money's going, we can show you. But there's just not enough. It's like our households. You can't get everything you like.
Real quickly, are you hiring? You need anybody in Watertown?
No, I think we're good right now. Well, I do. I need one street employee. We lost a very good man back last November in a hunting accident, and we hadn't replaced him totally yet. We've had some part-time people working.
Well, Mike, always appreciate you being here, so hopefully we'll see you about this time next month.
I hope so.
All right. That is it for a Tuesday. Join us tomorrow for the Wednesday edition. Till then, I wish you a terrific day.